For it was so that the children of Israel had sinned against Ahijah their Elohim, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods.
So we sinned against the Most High, and that's a basic concept, as you heard in the prayer. We sinned against the Most High. So past that, we're to us being brought out of Israel and to this place we know now as Babylon. Okay, go to Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, and the 24th verse. All right, then read that.
Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 24. Wherefore I bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses, and I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled.
In order to figure out who Israel is, in order to figure out who Babel is, we had to figure out who Israel is. So I'm going into how we got taken out of Israel first. And it says that he would bring, because of our sin, he would bring the nations upon us. And he said the worst of the nations. That word heathen also translates into nations. All right, then next we'll be going to Psalms 83. Psalms 83, verse 5 through 8.
Psalms chapter 83, 5, verse 5 through verse 8. For they have consulted together with one consent, that they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, and of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre.
So these are the nations that are confederate against us. And if she said that there would be a confederacy inside of Psalms, and these nations that are confederate against us, actually the UN is a union between every single nation in the world except 3. Every single recognized nation in the world. And I'm pretty sure they're not united for us, because Psalms 83 says they're united against us. So we're going to go into which of the nations do we have to point out to see who is the leader of Babylon. We're going to figure out, because the leader of the world is going to be the leader of Babylon. So we're going to go to we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 49. All right, then read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 38, verse 49 or 28.
Right here. All right, then. Read.
And the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So he's saying, among these nations which will be confederate against you, one of these nations is going to be the one to take you out of here, take you out of this land. So we're going to go to Obadiah 1 and 4. Obadiah 1 and 4.
Book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee thou, saith Ahijah.
So he's saying this nation would come as swift as the eagle. And as we see, Esau represents himself as the eagle. So now we have a pinpoint on who this leader is that will be leading Babylon. This is Edom, the progenitor of the Caucasian, and a few of them have mixed with the Arabs of today. That's why they're Arabs. Arab in the Hebrew means mixed. So we're going to go to 2nd Esdras to prove that he's the leader. We're going to go to 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 9. All right, then read that.
Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 9.
No, 8.
Sorry, verse 8.
Sorry.
And he said to me, from Abraham to Isaac, because from him were born Jacob and Esau. For Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. Now Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age.
So what that means is that Esau, in the end, he will be the leader of these last empires. Edom would be in control of the last empires of the nations, of the Gentile nations. So we're going to move on to we're going to move on to where they took us. So we're going to go to Ezekiel 17 and 20. Read.
Ezekiel 17:20, and read, I will spread my net upon him, and he shall be taken in by my snare. He shall be taken in my snare, and I will bring him to Babylon, and will plead with him there for his trespass that he hath trespassed against me.
So it says, he would capture us in his snare, the Most High, for our sin, and he would take us to Babylon. And there we would suffer the curse of Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Before going there, we would be suffering the curse of Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. All right, then I want you to read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And it reads, And Ahiah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
This is the slave ships in which the African American, which they like to call us, the African American came into Babel. So when we got there, we suffered the curse of Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. So we're going to read that as well. Read.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Cursed shall thou be in the city. During the time of Martin Luther King, when we tried to do our riots in the city, we were cursed during that time of trying to delete segregation, acclimating ourselves into Babylon even further than what we were when we were segregated against. And then before that, we would suffer the curse. We would suffer the curse of the field. We would have to work the field when we got here off the ships of Deuteronomy 28 and 68. So we're going to go to Revelations 11 and 8. And remember the slave ships. He said on the slave ships, he said he would bring us back to Egypt. Egypt is called the house of bondage. So Deuteronomy 11 and 8. Revelations 11 and 8. Excuse me. Read that.
Revelations chapter 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt.
This city is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. It's called Sodom because we're the only country sending our president out to go and try to help the poor homosexuals in Africa and China and Europe. And also, we voted into law that we will now allow gay marriage. So we got the Egypt part. That's us slaving over here. And the Sodom part is now they voted into law not only homosexuality, they also have the pedophilia, where now they're letting criminals go, so that they can track the rest of them. And the judges themselves are pedophiles. So we're going to move on to 2 Kings 18 and 11, because we talked about Judah and how Judah got here. That's Levi, Benjamin, and Judah himself. And Judah is the African American of America. Levi is the Haitians, and Benjamin is those of Jamaica. All right, then read.
And the king of Assyria did carry away Israel into Assyria, and put them in Halah, and Habor, and by the river Gozan, and the cities of the Medes.
So he's saying they took Israel. Israel is the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom, which had the rest of these 12 tribes, the rest of the 9 tribes that were not attached to Judah anymore because of the separation between them. So they were taken into Assyria. So we're going to go to 2nd Esdras 13:40 through 45. This is Esdras, 2nd Esdras of the Apocrypha. And this book has been proven because it was in the original 1611, which King James originally had it inside of the book. All right.
2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse
40. Chapter 13, 13 verse 40.
13 verse 40 through 45. These were the 9 tribes that were taken away from their own land to exile in the days of King Hoshea, whom Shalmaneser, king of the Assyrians, made captives. He took them across the river, and they were taken into another land. But they formed this plan for themselves, that they would go and leave the multitude of the nations and go to a more distant region, where no human beings had ever lived.
And this is a land in which no one had ever inhabited. Japheth was in Europe to Asia. Ham was in northern Africa. And Shem was in what we know as the Middle East. So they went to a land that was unknown, which we know today as America. Read on.
It's chapter 14, verse 42. And read, so that there at least they might keep their statutes that they had not kept in their own land. And they went in by the narrow passage of the Euphrates River. For at the time the Most High performed signs for them, and stopped the channels of the river until they had crossed over. And through that region there was a long way to go, of a journey and a half, and that country is called Arsareth.
Year and a half. He meant year and a half, I'm sorry. But they went over the waters through the Euphrates. They went down through the Euphrates. They went around Africa, those who were with the natives of the Americas, Mexico, and South America. Others went towards India, and they also stopped in the Isles of the Somalian Isles, the Isles of Hawaii, where Hawaii is pinpointed. So we're going to move on. Now that we know that we were taken out of the land, how do we know if this land that we were taken is Babylon? How do we know if Israel is in Babylon? 18 and 4. Read.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues.
This person in which he is talking about is Babylon. He is telling us to come out of Babylon. Go to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6 through 8.
My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversary said, We offended not, because they have sinned against the Lord. The habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. And move out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks.
So he's saying, this place in which we came, this place in which we dwell, we have been slain, and the people who have slain us say that they are not guilty of our blood. And then later on down through the verses, he says, remove yourself from the midst of Babylon, therefore telling you that his people, Israel and Judah, is in Babylon. So we're going to move down to Revelations 18 and 11 through 15.
And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore. And the merchandise of gold, and of silver, and of precious stones, and of pearls, and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and of marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men.
So right now they're talking about the riches of Babylon. Towards the end he said, and slaves of men. A lot of people don't know that the stock exchange or the stock market of America was founded off of the slaves originally. And that if America's stock market goes down, they say it will be a total shutdown, not of America, but the world. So right now we know that America has great riches, enough to slow down and stop the world. And not only that, before America was consumer, all the businesses used to come to America, and they used to build their businesses here. Now that we have become consumers, the businesses have moved out, and now we buy their merchandise from within Babylon, so they're still getting rich off of this place. So this is a haven. This was a haven for businessmen, and it still is. But they're no longer in Babylon. They're just selling to the consumers of Babylon. All right, then we're going to be moving on to Isaiah, the 13th chapter, and the 17th verse. Read.
Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, and they shall not delight in it. Their bows shall also dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, and their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, and the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tents in there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
So the Most High is saying he's going to bring the Medes against Babylon. The Medes was the ancient kingdom of the Medo-Persian. Today that is Iran. And what a lot of people don't know right now, Iran is building an army. They're building an army in South America to attack America from the underside. I want you to read that. It's at theblaze.com. Read.
Iran aggressively recruiting invisible army of Latin American converts to infiltrate U.S. through soft belly of southern border. Iran is recruiting an invisible army of revolutionary sympathizers in Latin America to infiltrate the U.S. Though the soft belly of the southern border, really soft. U.S. officials and national security experts told the Blaze, and they're using one website in particular to do it. The Iran regime's conversion efforts are becoming increasingly aggressive, especially over the internet, with the goal of conducting operations against the United States' interests in the Western Hemisphere. According to the U.S. government officials who spoke in the condition of the anatomy due to the nature of their work in the region.
All right, then. So now we know that Iran is using Southern converts, South American converts, so that they can now attack America from the underside. Now, Iran is not the only one that will be attacking Babylon. Go to Jeremiah 50:9. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Her arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain.
So he's going to bring a country of the north against us, as we just read. Who is this country of the north? It just so happens that Russia has also joined this alliance. Russia has joined in an alliance with Iran, both militarily and economically. So with this new military regime, they're going to not only through the underbelly, because it also says that Russia is teaming up with Argentina to build a base in South America so that they can also attack us from the underside. Read that.
The Guardian LV.com. Argentina to host Russian military bases while America sleeps. Argentina, South America's second largest country, has agreed to host Russian military bases on the South American continent. Long a political ally of militant Islam, Argentina seeks to bring economic relief to the region. Argentina and its close ally, Venezuela, have long been on friendly terms with Iran, and this latest move opens the door to another political foe of the United States. While the world and the U.S. have been fixated on the events happening in Ukraine, the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, has been linking deals with leaders in Latin America. First discussed by Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu in February, Putin intends to set up armed force units and increase munition sales in the Latin American realm. Moscow's plan comes on the heels of a recent statement from Iran involving the patrolling of waters off the American coast. Russia and Iran have cited their reasons as being the increased U.S. military presence near their borders. The U.S. has surged the stretching of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization to push against the Russian perimeter.
So we're going to move from this. We get Zechariah 5:1-4. Zechariah chapter 5:1-4. Read.
Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, behold, a flying scroll. And he said to me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying scroll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 20 cubits.
Read on.
And he said, he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. And I will bring it forth, saith the High of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and it shall consume it with timber thereof and the stones thereof.
So it's saying, Zechariah said he saw a scroll, a flying scroll, that went and it basically consumed whole buildings. This scroll is the nuke. Now, America's been trying very hard to keep Iran from getting the nuke. Israel and America making alliances with it. Now, Israel and America have made an alliance with Iran to make sure that they will not get their hands on the nuke. They have signed a deal that Iran will lower their nuclear capacity in exchange for sanctions. That means they'll be giving them a certain amount of money per year, and they'll also be giving them the right to trade as a recognized country. All right, then. We're going to move on. To Jeremiah 50:12. Now, there was one thing that I noticed about this, which I'm now explaining to you. There was one thing that I saw that was wrong, or not wrong, that did not fit. So we're going to go to Jeremiah 50 and 12. All right, then read that.
Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. And behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert.
This is speaking of Babylon. If you go up further inside of this chapter, you'll see that this is speaking of Babylon. But wait, where does the mother come in? Because inside of Revelations it says she was the mother of harlots. So we're going to move on to Isaiah 47, 1 through 6. All right, then read.
Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, where thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks and make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh and pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Ye, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, and the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent, and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was wroth with my people, and I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into thine hands. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
So it's saying that the Most High gave us to the daughter of Babylon. So this quite possibly is saying that America might not be the mother Babylon. It's Babylon, but it is the daughter of Babylon. They both go by the same name, like a last name. America, and then the last name is Babylon. The first name is the modern-day name, and the last name is Babylon, as well as the mother. So America is denoted as the daughter of Babylon, but she goes by her mother's name. So we're going to go to Zechariah 2 and 7.
Zechariah chapter 2, verse 7. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
So it says, deliver yourself, O Zion, from the daughter of Babylon. So therefore, first we say that America is in Babylon. Second, we say she's in the daughter of Babylon. Here is another verse saying that she is the daughter of Babylon, but she goes by her mother's name. So we're going to figure out who is Mother Babylon. So we're going to go to Psalms 37, 7 through 8. Read that. Read.
Remember, O Adonia, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, and raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be, that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
So it's saying that Edom is, even though this is the daughter of Babylon, Edom is still in control of this power as well as the mother. Edom is the end of the world. So we're going to move on to Revelation 17, 3 and 4. We're going to be seeing who this mother is. Who is Mother Babylon? We know who one of her daughters are, but now we're going to figure out who is this Mother Babylon. 17 of Revelations and 3 through 4. Read.
So he carried me away in spirit to the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names and blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple color, scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
It says, this is the mother of Babylon, which we are reading now, who sits on a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. And this cup which is within her hand is the blood of the saints. You can read it in Revelation. It's the blood of the saints. And saint means set apart one. It means holy one. Holy meaning set apart. And you can find it inside. You can find it inside the Hebrew Concordance. If you look up saint, you'll see that it means holy one. And if you look up holy, it means set apart. So this mother of Babylon is drunk with our blood, and she sits on a beast. So we need to figure out who is this beast. So we're going to go to Revelation 17 and 7. Read that.
And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and the 10 horns.
So we're going to skip down to verse 9. Read.
And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, upon which the woman sitteth.
Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains. The reason why I had you come to this verse is because I want you to hold this in your mind for a little while. Well, we're going to move on, but I want you to remember this verse because we're going to be coming back to it. So Revelation 17, verse 8, verse 8. Read.
And the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they shall dwell on the earth. And they that dwell on the earth shall wander, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is.
So this beast was denoted as one, when the world sees it, they're going to marvel at this beast. We're going to skip down to verse 10.
And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is yet to come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short time. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth in unto perdition.
So there are also 7 kings which will come forth. This beast is the 8th, but he is of the 7th. So that means he is a reincarnation of the 7th. So these 7 kings are 7 empires. They are kings, but they are also empires. In times past have come and gone. That's why it says 1 is and 1 is yet to come. The kingdom that was during this time was Rome. And the kingdom that was yet to come was the Ottoman Empire. So we're going to move back. We're going to move back a little bit and explain who these 7 kings are. The first king was the first Babylon, ruled by Nimrod. Second was the kingdom of Egypt. Third, the second kingdom of Babel, ruled by Nebuchadnezzar. Fourth was the kingdom of Persia. Fifth was the kingdom of the Grecians. Sixth was the kingdom in which he said was at this time, which is. And seventh, is the Ottoman Empire, in which has in times past fallen, in which a lot of people like to say that Babylon is Mecca. But we're gonna get down to that. So Caleb, move on to the next verse. What's your next verse? Daniel 7, 3 through 7. Read.
And 4 great beasts came out up from the sea, diverse one from another. First was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. And I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it would raise itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. And the beast also had 4 heads, and a dominion was given to it. And after this I saw night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and it strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
So this beast, the 4th beast, is very similar to the beast in which we are trying to recognize. The first beast was like a lion with wings. That is a representation of the Babylonian Empire ruled by Nebuchadnezzar. The second was a bear with ribs in his mouth, which represented the Persian Empire. Third was represented by a leopard, which was the Grecian Empire. But this 4th beast is the empire that came after it. And that empire is Rome. Rome is the beast in which we see in Revelations. So the beast in Revelations is a rebirth of Rome. And we're going to prove that this beast is a reincarnation of this other beast. So we're going to move on to Daniel 7 and 23. Yes, read. Daniel 7:23. Read.
Thus he said, The 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
So this 4th beast. So now we know the beasts are kingdoms or empires. So why is the beast in Daniel have 1 head, but the beast inside of Revelations have 7? Well, first of all, Daniel was seeing the beast as it was at first. The beast which was to come in Revelations was a reincarnation of that beast, and this beast would have a city in which would sit on these 7 heads, which are the mountains, and that city is Rome. She is the mother of abomination. She is the mother of harlots. We're going to read a document from a website called Angel Fire. During the time of the first Babylon, there was a king named Nimrod, and he reigned, and he had power to basically call himself a god during that time. Later on, he was killed. So we're going to read from that event on. Read.
Following the death of Nimrod, in Jasher chapter 27, verse 1 through 8, his heathen form of worship was continued by his wife, Queen Semiramis. She claimed that her husband had become the sun god and was to be worshipped. Sometime after this, Queen Semiramis conceived through adultery and gave birth to an illegitimate son whom she named Tammuz. Upon the birth of Tammuz, Semiramis declared that he was actually Nimrod reborn. In addition to this, he also claimed that her son was supernaturally conceived. She claimed that Tammuz was to be the savior of the world. However, even though Semiramis claimed to have given birth to a savior, but it was she that was worshipped, not the son. She was worshipped as the mother of the gods.
So this is where the Catholic Church gets the worship of Mary. They are a reincarnation of this Catholic system. And when Babylon finally fell, each person took with them their new language. They also took with them their own idea of this miraculous birth. So let's move down and see these different versions of her in these countries. We're going to read only a few.
The Chinese called her Xing Mu. The Germans called her Hertha. The Scandinavians called her Caesar. In India, she was known as IRREFUTABLE. In Greece, she was Hera and Gaia. The Romans worshipped her as Venus, Terra, or Ceres, which all traced to each other. The Celtic Irish worshipped Anu. The Welsh worshipped Don. The Germanic tribes worshipped Nerthus. In Turkic Siberia, Yurtanri. And in Slavic countries like Russia, Matzimla, the Queen of Heaven.
So you see all these different countries took with them a memorial of this which had happened. In Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 17 through 19, they speak of the Israelites worshiping this Queen Mother of Heaven, this woman in which said she had a miraculous birth. Well, the Catholic Church has now taken up this standard, and Catholic means unity or diverse or broad-based. So now you see the Catholic Church is now trying to reunite all of these religions into one once again, which will be that one world religion. So we're going to move down, and we're going to read Revelations 17 and 12. Oh, wait, no, sorry. And as far as that Mecca being the new Babylon, the Catholic Church created Islam. There was an ex-Jesuit priest by the name of Alberto Riviera who actually gave the breakdown on how they gave Muhammad financial backing so that he would take Jerusalem for himself. Later on, Muhammad betrayed them and wanted Jerusalem for himself. So Islam is just another daughter of this system in which started with the first Babylon. So we're going to move on to Revelation 17 and 12.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which they have received no kingdom as yet, but have received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
It says these 10 horns are kings, in which have no kingdom yet, but they will reign inside of the beast, or with the beast. So these are 10 states, or 10 powers, which will reign inside of this new empire of Rome. So we're going to prove this. We're going to read, and we're going to read from Wikipedia the beginning of these powers. All right, then read.
The Brussels Treaty of 1948. The agreement signed by Britain, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Luxembourg, creating a collective defense alliance. It led to the formation of NATO and the Western European Union.
So later on, these 10 horns, the rest of these 10 horns, this is 5 of the 10 horns uniting under this treaty called the Brussels Treaty. These are 5 European powers. Read down to later on. The Brussels Treaty was expanded upon, and the rest of the 5 horns were added on to this. This is also from Wikipedia. Read.
The Western European Union comprised of the French, the Union de l'Europe Occidentale.
Restart.
The Union de l'Europe Occidentale, or the UEO, was an international organization and military alliance tasked with implementing the modified Treaty of Brussels. In 1945, an amended version of the original 1948 Treaty of Brussels between these 10 European powers, Belgium, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, and the United Kingdom. And in 1958, 4 years later, after this treaty, they signed a treaty to establish...
One second, stop there. So now you see the 10 horns united in what we see as the European Union. These 10 kings inside of this new Roman Empire. So the mother of Babylon sits on this empire, we must remember. And Italy is actually one of these 10 horns which united inside of this Western European Union. But later on, this union was canceled because you got to remember now, the European Union has way more members than it did in the beginning. I want you to go back to Revelations and read 13. Revelation 17 and 13. Read.
And these have one mind, and they shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
These 10 horns have one mind and will give their power and strength to the beast, meaning that they will give up their right to become an empire of their own, to recreate the beast of the past, the Roman Empire. So read later on. Later on, the treaty was terminated, and they allowed more European countries to be joined to this union, which we know now as the European Union. Read.
This treaty was terminated in 2011 to create the European Union, which would allow more countries to join this union. The future enlargement of the European Union is theoretically open to any European country which is democratic and operates as a free market and is willing to be able to implement all previous European Union laws.
So the European Union has an enlargement plan or agenda to enlarge itself to the original territories. So these are people that they are going to add on to the Union as of next year or this year. There's also what is called the associate country members, where they actually get to get all the benefits of the full members, but they are not legally joined to this union. But they are a part of this system which is recreating Rome. So read this.
European Commission, Directorate General for Research and Innovation of Associated Countries. Associated countries can participate under the same conditions as legal entities from the member states. These include Iceland, Norway, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, Turkey, Israel, Moldova, Switzerland with a partial association, the Faroe Islands, and Ukraine.
So basically, you implement the laws of the UN, basically making you a part of it. You're not a legal member, but you can get these benefits of the union. But at the fall of America, what a lot of people don't know is that will strike there will be no more economy as far as America goes. So all the Chinese think that they're going to get it next. But in actuality, they will not get the system next because their financial or economic system is propped up by our debt. And if we never pay that debt, they're basically going to fall as well. So all power will go back to this B system, and these associate members will join the European Union. So we're next going to be talking about the European Neighborhood Policy, which completes the new Roman Empire. So read.
The European Union offers financial assistance to countries within the European neighborhood, so long as they meet the strict conditions of government reform, economic reform, and other issues surrounding positive transformation. The countries are covered, including Algeria, Morocco, Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, and Libya, and the Palestinian Authority, Syria, and Tunisia in the south, and Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine in the east.
These are basically European. The African territories of what the ancient Rome used to have. So now they say, if you implement our law, we'll give you sanctions. We'll basically help all developing countries in northern Africa. We'll help you out if you follow our law, basically making them a part of the union. And if you add all this together, associate members, the neighboring country policy, and if you add the first members themselves, you get the old Roman Empire. And the financial system in which they run the European economy in which they run in the European Union was signed under a treaty named the Treaty of Rome. You can find all this on Wikipedia. So let's go to Revelation 17 and 16.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
So the 10 horns are going to destroy Babylon. But we just read that America was going to be destroyed by the Medes and the Persians. These 10 horns are what we know as the first powers of the European Union, which still are in control of this European Union. So the 10 horns, why would these 10 European powers destroy Vatican do this? Why would they do this? Basically, by the destruction, you can see these two Babels are different. But how would she be destroyed? Well, there's a growing Muslim population inside of Europe. And we're going to read from the Council of Foreign Relations.org. And they're going to tell us a little bit about this Muslim population. Read.
Today, Muslims constitute the majority of immigrants in most Western European countries, including Belgium, France, Germany, and the Netherlands, and the largest single component of the immigrant population in the United States. Exact numbers are hard to come by because Western censuses rarely ask respondents about their faith. But it's estimated that between 15 and 20 million Muslims now call Europe home and make up 4 to 5% of its total population. France is the largest proportion of Muslims, up to 10% of its total population. So unlike American Muslims, who are geographically diffused, ethnically fragmented, and generally well-off, Europe's Muslims gather in bleak enclaves with their compatriots, Algerians in France, Moroccans in Spain, Turks in Germany, and Pakistanis in the United Kingdom. Summary. Radical Islam is spreading across Europe among descendants of Muslim immigrants, disenfranchised and disillusioned by the failure of integration. Some European Muslims have taken up jihad against the West.
So these are not any regular Muslim population. This is an Islamic population in Europe that has taken up jihad against the West. And the Muslims don't like the Catholic Church. And the Muslim population is strong, and each one of these 10 horns, which are said are going to burn the Catholic or the Vatican, to burn this great whore. So we're gonna wrap this up with a few more verses, and we're gonna go to Revelations 18 and 10. Read.
Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city of Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
So they're going to, this Muslim population in the 10 horns is going to burn the Vatican, just as it said they would in chapter 17. Remember, these are not any regular Muslims. These are the Muslims. These are radical Islamics, and they want to destroy the Vatican City. They want to destroy Vatican City because they hate Christians and Catholics alike. So let's move down to Daniel 7 and 8. Read.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up from among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great blasphemies.
They're saying a little horn would come out of Rome, would come out before these other horns, and 3 horns would be plucked up before him. So you get a better understanding, there are the European powers, as we see it, have not been attacked by America as far as America doing an attack on Europe. So we're going to get an understanding of how these 3 horns got plucked up. So read in Daniel chapter 7, verse 24.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Says that this little horn, would subdue 3 kings. The first king was France. France occupied America. So he subdued France by basically paying him out to get out of America and let him have the territory. The other king was Britain, or the United Kingdom. The third king was Spain. All 3 of these were plucked out of America as we know it today. So this little horn is indeed America. Therefore, so America is not only the daughter of Babylon, it is also an extension of Rome. So we're going to move down to Daniel 7 and 25. 25, read.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given unto his hands until a time and times and a dividing of time.
It says that the saints would be given into his hands. Saints meaning set apart. In Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 6th verse, those saints are the set apart. In Deuteronomy chapter 7 and 6th verse, it says that Israel is the Most High set apart treasure. And how would he make war against us? Let's talk about the food. GMO'd everything up. Let's talk about psychological war through the television, programming people through subliminal messages. Let's talk about the medicine. First they get you sick with the food, then they poison you to death inside of the pharmaceutical companies and groups. And now the drug war, they're trying, and the terrorist war. Now they're trying to make war with us and saying that we are terrorists. Now in Europe, when black people migrate to Europe, they are now calling us the worst thing to come to Europe. Later on, they'll be calling us terrorists, and they will be making war with us. That's what all these shootings are. Black people getting shot. And then they want us to riot so that they can make war with us and call us terrorists, so that they can finally make an end of Israel as a nation, as we read in the beginning. So we're going to go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 29. Read. 28. Okay, read.
Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me. But I kept the matter in my heart.
He's saying that this vision scared him so much. What we're going through right now, it scared him so much that his countenance changed from his fear. So how will Israel be saved from this? From this great destruction in which is coming upon us? For the last 5 verses, we're going to go to 5 or 6. We're going to Isaiah 45 and 17. Isaiah 45 and 17. Read.
But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation, and he shall not be ashamed nor confounded world without end.
It's saying that the Most High will save us from this coming calamity. And a lot of people are saying, if the Catholic Church is the system, where do we come in when it comes to saying flee from her? There are billions of our brothers inside of South America, Mexico, and including North America, which are joined to this Catholic system, to this Vatican, and the Vatican gets a lot of money from what they do as far as giving tithes and suffering for this kingdom. So we're going to move on to Micah 4 and 10 through 11. The Most High says he's going to save us. Micah chapter 4, verse 10. Read.
Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion.
Wait, where are you?
10.
Okay. Read from 9. Sorry, read.
Now why dost thou cry out aloud? Is there no king in thee? Is thy counselor perished? For pains have taken thee as a woman in travail.
Read on.
Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of a city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even unto Babylon, and there shalt thou be delivered. Here I have redeemed thee from the land of thine enemies.
So it's saying that the Most High we're going to be in birth pains in Babylon. Let's go to Revelations 1 and 7. We're going to be in birth pains in Babylon. And he says we will be delivered from these pains. These pains are Jacob's trouble, or the tribulation, as Christians like to call it. We're in birth pains, but we will be delivered. All right, then. Read Revelations 1 and 7. Revelations 1, verse 7.
Behold, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Oh. Even so,
read on.
Say, Yamin.
It's saying that our deliverer is quickly coming. But go to Revelations 12, 1 through 7. Read that, please. This will be speaking of this in which we are in birth pains for. Read. 1 through 7.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
This great dragon, this Roman Empire, is waiting to devour this child in which will be born. So we're going to move down and we're going to read chapter 10 to see who this child is. Verse 10 of 12. Read.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the power of our Lord Ahiah, and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuses them before our power day and night.
It's saying that the woman has given birth, and this child in which she has given birth, this woman is Israel, and this child in which she has given birth to is the Messiah, Yeshua, in which will save us in the end day. So go to Isaiah 14, 1 through 12. Isaiah 14, 1 through 12.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them.
Sorry, stop there. Now read, finish 2.
And bring them to their peace, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Ahiah for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them as captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Through this Messiah, Yeshua, we will be rejoined, and all those who have ever taken us captive will now be taken captive. Anybody in the land right now that's acting like they're us, they're going to be taken captive by us. And also, he will give us the full promise of Abraham. It's not a spiritual promise only. It's also a physical promise of a land in which he would give us. So go to Jeremiah 32, 37 through 40. We're going to be wrapping it up now, and we'll finish off with a prayer. Read 32, 37 through 40. Read.
Behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whither I have driven them in mine anger, and my fury, and in great wrath. And I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. And they will be my people, and I will be their power. And I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, and the good of them and their children after them. And I will make them everlasting covenant with them, that I will not turn away from them to do them good, but I will put my fear in their hearts, and they shall not depart from me.
All right, then. So he's saying he will there make an everlasting covenant with us in the new kingdom in which we will reign instead of this beast system, instead of Babylon with her false religions which have turned us away from our power, from the Most High, Ahiah. He says he will give us a new kingdom, and he will give us the power to be kings upon the earth, and the nations will serve us, all those who oppressed us. And he will put an end to the nation. So let's go for the last verse, Isaiah 49 and 8. Read.
Thus saith the High, in an acceptable time I have heard thee, in the day of salvation have I helped thee. And I will preserve thee, and give thee for a covenant to the people, to establish the earth, to cause and inherit the desolate heritages.
And this speaks of Yeshua. He says he will give Yeshua to be that which established the covenant. And him dying on the stake or on the cross, him dying there would reestablish Israel. And through his blood, we would be reunited as one kingdom, and we would once again get our land. And this concludes our lesson. If there are any questions, we would like to answer them now. if there are any questions that are unanswered, you can email me at Brother Rashawn, the full word Brother Rashawn, as spelled on my Facebook, at mail.com. Brother Rashawn at mail.com. Are there any more questions? All right, then we will begin to pray out. Thank you, Ahia, in the name of your precious son, Yeshua, who is coming back again to redeem your people, Israel. I thank you, Most High, that you have redeemed us as a people back to yourself, as I do. In every prayer, I thank you, because without you, we would still be a lost people, not knowing who we are, and later on to be destroyed, not knowing why. I thank you that you have awakened us to the truth, and that you have awakened us to who our enemy is and the powers that are surrounding us to destroy us. I thank you that you have awakened us so that we can know how to avoid them and who to avoid. I ask that you strengthen everyone that is on this call. I ask that you give them strength in their body so that they can also share this message, the message of your Son, as well as who your people are and who this evil system is. In the name of your Son, Yeshua, I pray. Amen.
Amen. All praise to the Most High.
All praise to the Most High.
Lord. Yep, amen. All praise to the Most High.